40 years ago, somebody didn't follow the very strict and very clear rules about their new pet, unleashing havoc in the process. Director Joe Dante's 1984 horror comedy Gremlins saw a horde of frighteningly hilarious little monsters take over a small town at Christmas time, and filmgoers ate it up, but hopefully not after midnight. The film came in second at the box office on its opening weekend, behind another 80s classic, Ghostbusters, and in the 4 decades since it's become not only a cult favorite, but also something of an offbeat holiday staple. In 1990, the film spawned an even more wild sequel, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, and more recently Netflix revived the franchise in an animated series, Gremlins, Secrets of Mogwai. On the 40th anniversary of Gremlins' release, let's check in on the film's cast to see how they've fared since being tormented by the little green ghouls. Zach Galligan as Billy. At just 20 years old, Zach Galligan stepped into the spotlight with his film debut as Billy in Gremlins, instantly becoming a familiar face to movie fans. He later returned to the role in Gremlins 2, The New Batch, 1990, solidifying his place in horror comedy history. But his career didn't stop there. Over the next 4 decades, Galligan carved out a niche in horror and B-movies, starring in cult favorites like Waxwork, 1988, and its sequel Warlock, The Armageddon, 1993, and even the racy comedy All Tied Up, 1993. Beyond the big screen, he made his mark on television, landing guest spots in iconic shows like Melrose Place, Tales from the Crypt, Star Trek, Voyager, and Law & Order, Criminal Intent. More recently, he's embraced his Gremlins legacy, reuniting with Gizmo in a 2021 Mountain Dew commercial and lending his voice to Gremlins, Secrets of the Mogwai on Netflix. Galligan continues to prove that some roles and some actors never fade from the spotlight. Galligan tied the knot with Ling Ling Hu Ingerick in 2005, but their marriage came to an end after 5 years. Phoebe Cates is Kate. Phoebe Cates first stole hearts with her iconic bikini scene in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, 1982, and continued her charm offensive in Gremlins as Kate, Billy's love interest. One of the film's most unforgettable moments came when Cates delivered a chilling monologue about her hatred for Christmas, a scene so memorable that she humorously referenced it in Gremlins 2, The New Batch. Throughout the late 80s and early 90s, Kate solidified her place in Hollywood, starring in comedies like Date with an Angel, 1987, and Drop Dead Fred, 1991, as well as dramas such as Bright Lights, Big City, 1988. During an audition for The Big Chill, Cates crossed paths with Kevin Kline, who became more than just a co-star. Though she didn't land the role, which went to Meg Tilly, Cates and Kline began a romance that led to their marriage in 1989. They also appeared together in I Love You to Death, 1990, and Princess Caraboo, 1994. After Princess Caraboo, Kate stepped away from acting to raise her 2 children but returned briefly in 2001 for The Anniversary Party, directed by her Fast Times co-star Jennifer Jason Leigh. In 2015, she revisited Gremlins by lending her voice to a character in Lego Dimensions, ensuring her lasting impact on pop culture. Howie Mandel as Gizmo. By 1984, Howie Mandel had already gained recognition for his role on NBC's St. Elsewhere, but it was his voice that truly made an impact when he brought the adorable Mogwai Gizmo to life in Gremlins. His signature squeaks and coos made the character unforgettable, and Mandel reprised the role in Gremlins 2, The New Batch. Mandel's career took off in the 80s, starring in comedies like A Fine Mess, Walk Like a Man, and Little Monsters, while also lending his voice to Muppet Babies. However, his biggest animated success came with Bobby's World, a show he created and starred in, which aired from 1990 to 1998 on Fox Kids. Mandel has remained a staple in entertainment, appearing as himself in numerous TV shows and films. In recent years, he's become a beloved game show host and reality TV judge, leading Deal or No Deal in America's Got Talent. He even surprised audiences by competing as the Rock Lobster on The Masked Singer. Beyond his career, Mandel has been candid about his struggles with obsessive-compulsive disorder, a condition he shares with his daughter, Jacqueline. Married to his wife, Terry, since 1980, Mandel's resilience and humor have made him a true entertainment icon. Corey Feldman as Pete. Corey Feldman made his mark as Pete in Gremlins, but his career truly skyrocketed in the 1980s. He became one of the decade's most recognizable child stars, delivering unforgettable performances in The Goonies, Stand By Me, and The Lost Boys. Teaming up with Corey Haim in License to Drive and Dream a Little Dream, the duo became known as the Two Coreys. However, fame came with struggles. Feldman battled addiction and was often surrounded by controversy. In 2020, he released the documentary My Truth, The Rape of Two Coreys, where he alleged that he and Chaim suffered abuse as child actors. That same year, he stepped down from SAG-AFTRA's Sexual Harassment Committee after being accused of misconduct by former band members from Corey's Angels, claims he strongly denied. Authorities investigated but did not file charges. Beyond acting, Feldman built a music career, releasing several albums since 1992. Recently, he appeared as the Seal on The Masked Singer and is set to release a new single, The Joke, on June 22nd. Additionally, his 2004 film The Birthday is getting a theatrical release this fall. Despite personal and professional challenges, Feldman continues to reinvent himself. Dick Miller as Mr. Futterman. Dick Miller, a seasoned character actor with a remarkable 60-year career, became a familiar face in countless films and TV shows, particularly in the works of director Joe Dante. Dante cast him as the lovable yet drunken townie Murray Futterman in Gremlins, 1984, a role he would reprise in Gremlins 2, The New Batch 6 years later. Following Gremlins, Miller continued to bring his unique charm to small yet memorable roles in films like The Terminator, Inner Space, and The Burps. He also lent his voice to a character on Batman, the animated series, and appeared in iconic TV shows such as Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, and Star Trek Deep Space Nine during the 90s. In 2014, Miller was celebrated in the documentary That Guy Dick Miller, which highlighted his extensive and influential career. His final film, Hanukkah, was released in 2019 after his passing that same year at the age of 90. Miller was married to his wife, Lainey, from 1959 until his death, and together they had one daughter. His legacy as a beloved character actor remains unforgettable. Judge Reinhold as Gerald. Judge Reinhold, best known for his role alongside Phoebe Cates in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, took on the character of Billy's rival, Gerald, in Gremlins, competing with him both at work and for Kate's attention. That same year, Reinhold skyrocketed to fame with his portrayal of Detective Billy Rosewood in Beverly Hills Cop, starring opposite Eddie Murphy. The role became iconic, leading him to reprise it in the two subsequent sequels. In the 1990s, Reinhold continued his success, landing a key role in the Santa Claus franchise, which he revisited for both sequels. His unforgettable turn as the close talker in Seinfeld earned him an Emmy nomination. In the 2000s, Reinhold kept his presence strong on television, appearing in guest spots on Monk, Arrested Development, and The Detour. This year, Reinhold returns to the Beverly Hills Cop franchise, reprising his role in the highly anticipated fourth installment, Beverly Hills Cop: Axel F. Reinhold's personal life includes a marriage to Carrie Fraser in the 80s, followed by a second marriage to film director Amy Miller in 2000. They have a daughter, Haley, born in 2013. Jonathan Banks as Deputy Brent Frye. Jonathan Banks has long been a staple in gritty, tough guy roles, and his appearance as Deputy Brent Frye in Gremlins was just one of many on his illustrious career path. That same year, he teamed up with Judge Reinhold in Beverly Hills Cop, showcasing his undeniable screen presence. However, it's his role as Mike Ehrmantraut in Breaking Bad that truly catapulted him to global fame. As the stoic, no-nonsense enforcer for a drug cartel, Banks' portrayal of Mike earned him 5 Emmy nominations, contributing to the deep, memorable character that made him a fan favorite. He reprised this role in the prequel series Better Call Saul and in the Breaking Bad film Camino. His first Emmy nod came in 1989 for his performance in Wise Guy, a CBS crime drama. Banks' personal life includes a marriage to his first wife, Marnie, in the late 60s, with whom he shares a daughter. He later married Janera, and together they have twins and a stepdaughter. Recently, Banks starred alongside Noomi Rapace in Constellation, a sci-fi series on Apple TV+. He's also set to voice a character in the upcoming Harley Quinn spin-off series Kite Man. Hell yeah. Later this year. Polly Holliday as Mrs. Deagle. Polly Holliday, widely recognized for her iconic portrayal of the fiery waitress Flo on CBS's Alice, showcased her impressive versatility when she switched from sassy to sinister as the cold-hearted Mrs. Deagle in Gremlins. In the following decades, Holliday continued to shine in both TV and film. She took on memorable guest and recurring roles in beloved shows like The Golden Girls and Home Improvement throughout the 80s and 90s. Holliday also made a mark in films, appearing in Mrs. Doubtfire and the 1998 remake of The Parent Trap, where she starred alongside a young Lindsay Lohan. Her final appearance came in 2010 in Fair Game, where she played the mother of CIA officer Valerie Plame. From playing a memorable comedic waitress to a chilling villainess, Holliday's career remains marked by her wide-ranging roles and unforgettable performances. Hoyt Axton as Billy's dad. Hoyt Axton wasn't just an actor, he was a celebrated singer-songwriter, best known for writing Joy to the World, made famous by Three Dog Night. With his deep, gravelly voice and warm presence, he was the perfect fit to play Billy's inventive yet hapless father in Gremlins. After his role in the 1984 classic, Axton continued acting in guest spots on TV hits like Different Strokes, Murder, She Wrote, and Fairy Tale Theater. However, his true passion remained music, and in the 1990s, he made a strong comeback, releasing 3 albums between 1990 and 1998. His personal life was just as eventful. Axton married 3 times before finding lasting love with his wife, Deborah. A father to 5 children, including musician Max Axton, he left behind a rich legacy when he passed away in 1999 at age 61. Keye Luke as Mr. Wing. Long before he played the wise and mysterious Mr. Wing in Gremlins, Keye Luke was already a Hollywood legend. His career spanned decades, starting in the 1930s with his roles in the Charlie Chan films and as Kato in the Green Hornet serials. Even in his 80s, Luke remained a force in the industry, appearing in hit shows like The A-Team, Miami Vice, MacGyver, and The Golden Girls. In 1990, he reprised his role as Mr. Wing for Gremlins 2 before making his final on-screen appearance in Woody Allen's Alice. Off-screen, Luke shared a lifelong bond with his wife Ethel, to whom he was married from 1942 until her passing in 1979. A true Hollywood pioneer, he passed away in 1991 at the age of 86, leaving behind an enduring legacy.